believe that's what should happen. Kathy need to just walk away, going off into the sunset. Well, the half bright sunset, I should say, because it ain't gonna be a good goodbye. But I feel like at this point she gonna have to step down. Stephen A. Smith said it last week, and I'm saying it right now. She gonna have to shake. But whatever the case may be, she's making no set choices or chances of her leaving. She made it clear during Friday press conference that she's here to stay for whatever reason. Now, something.
The situation surrounding WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has reached a critical point, prompting NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to publicly address the mounting tensions. Silver, who oversees both leagues, now faces another challenge on top of managing NBA operations and various other concerns. The complications with Engelbert's management of the WNBA represent a significant misstep, comparable to the controversial decision to exclude Caitlin Clark from the Olympic roster. Many observers believe Engelbert should acknowledge the problems and resign from her position, despite widespread criticism, including pointed remarks from commentator Stephen A. Smith. The commissioner showed no intention of departing during her Friday media appearance.
Stay for whatever reason. Now, something else that has to be talked about is the WNBA collective bargaining situation. Now, that is currently dealing with the CBA. Now, the way it's looking, might not be no 2026 season. And just like I stated, Kathy whole relationship situation is not good at all. They could put in there that Kathy got to step down before they sign anything, which would be ugly for the league. But hell, at this point, I can't blame them. Kathy can't be trusted, and she definitely got.
She made her position clear. She plans to remain in her role regardless of the circumstances. The collective bargaining agreement presents another urgent matter requiring immediate attention. The current deal expires at the end of this month, raising serious questions about whether the 2026 season will proceed as scheduled. The strained relationship between leadership and players has deteriorated to such an extent that players might demand Engelbert's removal as a condition for signing any new agreement. While such a requirement would create chaos for the organization, the lack of confidence in current leadership makes this scenario plausible. USA Today published an interview with Adam Silver early in the day, where he spoke candidly about the ongoing challenges facing the women's league.
Can't blame him. Kathy can't be trusted, and she definitely got to go. But let's head on over to USA Today. So they put out this article early this morning. I believe they interviewed Adam Silver, and he did not bite his tongue about any of these things that is currently happening with the WNBA. To me, I think it's just a misfortune. You know, it's just a misfortune of a situation. And they're going to have to fix it, bro. Like, this whole thing going to have to get fixed with Kathy. Been telling y'all this is a very, very ugly situation.
Silver's comments addressed multiple aspects of the current crisis, though some of his statements seem to sidestep the core issues. Regarding the labor dispute, Silver expressed confidence that negotiations would reach a successful conclusion. He essentially guaranteed there would be no work stoppage. Though skepticism about this prediction remains widespread, many anticipate difficulties ahead. Following recent vocal criticism from numerous WNBA players about Engelbert's failure to demonstrate responsibility and provide adequate guidance, Silver added his perspective during remarks at NBC Sports headquarters on October 6th. He characterized the situation as growing pains, describing it as an inevitable collision between extraordinary popularity and widespread player frustration, all happening just before the collective bargaining agreement deadline.
Been telling y'all this is a very, very ugly situation. I don't think it goes away anytime soon. Stated Adam Silver on WNBA labor dispute, we will get a deal done. So Adam Silver is pretty much saying that it's not going to be a lockout. That's what he's saying. For the most part, I believe it is. I believe it will be. NBA Commissioner Adam
Silver acknowledged that Engelbert has overseen remarkable expansion during her tenure. However, this statement glosses over the reality that attributing this growth solely to leadership seems misguided. The explosion in interest stems primarily from the emergence of talent like Caitlin Clark, not from administrative decisions. Silver admitted there are substantial problems that need resolution with the players. These challenges extend beyond financial matters to include fundamental relationship breakdowns. He expressed optimism that these issues could be addressed gradually, allowing the league to maintain its current upward momentum.
If it is, I believe it will be. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, on the heels of several prominent WNBA players' criticism, league Commissioner Kathy for lack of accountability and leadership, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver on Monday added his voice on the decision. In remarks made on October the 6th at NBC Sports headquarters, Adam Silver acknowledged the WNBA is experiencing growing pains. Whoa, he's saying growing pains, with this unprecedented popularity colliding with rampant player dis.
The reality remains that this growth trajectory exists largely because of Clark's presence and impact on the sport. Without her influence, the discussion would look entirely different. The original collective bargaining agreement was scheduled to remain in effect until 2027, but the players' union exercised their option to terminate early, moving the expiration date forward to October 31st, 2025. This deadline adds urgency to an already tense situation, with everything set to come to a head on Halloween. A new media rights agreement spanning 11 years with an estimated value of $2.2 billion has been secured, though credit for this deal is likely to be attributed to Engelbert, despite questions about her actual contribution. Silver noted the unfortunate timing of these growing pains occurring during the league's championship series.
Rampant player dissatisfaction just ahead of the expiration of its collective bargaining agreement at the end of the month. And just like I told y'all earlier today, this whole collective bargaining, this is the month, man. We gonna find out this month whether or not there's going to be some type of situation with this league that will be going on a lockout. Adam Silver stated, Kathy Engelbert has proceeded over his.
He emphasized the importance of celebrating the excellent games being played while simultaneously acknowledging the necessity of sitting down with players to hammer out a new agreement. Despite Silver's emphatic assurance that a deal will be reached, doubts persist about whether negotiations will succeed. There's genuine concern about whether an agreement can be finalized before the upcoming season. The uncertainty creates a frustrating scenario for fans who missed opportunities to attend games during the previous season and watch Clark perform. The possibility that Clark could return in improved form only for the season to be canceled due to labor disputes would be deeply disappointing. The outlook for the WNBA remains troubling.
Adam Silver stated, Kathy Engelbert has proceeded over historic growth. See, now y'all trying to, Adam, don't do it. Don't do it, Adam. Adam, please don't do this already. Don't give that damn credit to her in the league. But there's no question that there's issues we need to address with our players, Silver stated. They're not just economic, there's relationship issues as well. He stated, I'm confident we can fix those over time, and this league can continue to be the rocket.
Reports indicate that Engelbert has been unresponsive to communication.
And this league can continue to be the rocket trajectory that is on right now. They're only on this rocket trajectory because, excuse me, guys, they have Caitlin Clark. It's stated the current CBA was originally set to run through 2027, but the WNBA Players Union opted out last year, which pushed the expiration date up to October 31st, 2025. So that is when everything is going.
Once the collective bargaining situation resolves, attention will shift to free agency, followed by the draft lottery and other off-season activities. Every development related to major players like Clark will be closely monitored. The month ahead will determine whether the WNBA can navigate these troubled waters, or whether the combination of leadership problems and labor disputes will create a crisis that threatens the league's recent progress. A recent social media post featuring Natasha Howard attending an event with her spouse or significant other alongside Caitlin Clark, Connor McCaffrey, and Arie McDonald sparked an interesting discussion about what's been happening with the Indiana Fever franchise. The situation with Natasha Howard presents perhaps the clearest case study for why athletes would actually want to join Indiana's roster.
Fever. And this is what the Natasha, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, X, Y, and Z player, what happened with them is a reason why players will or won't go to the Fever. I think it's really, really really clear that Natasha Howard is the most prime example of this is why people are going to want to play for the Fever. Because Natasha Howard went to the Fever and she said it. She went there for recognition. I think basketball.
When Howard made her decision to sign with the Fever, her stated motivation was straightforward, gaining visibility and acknowledgement in the league. From a pure basketball standpoint, this past campaign might rank among her weakest performances in years. However, something more significant developed. She emerged as a genuine veteran presence and mentor figure, something that hadn't really characterized her career previously despite her experience level. The adversity she faced throughout the campaign was substantial. Throughout her career trajectory, Howard bounced around multiple organizations.
She went there for recognition. I think basketball-wise, Natasha Howard has had one of her worst seasons in a long time. But she's been a veteran leader, really for the first time, like a proper veteran leader on a team. For the first time in a long time. She's had to deal with a lot of adversity. And there definitely has not been a fan base because, yeah, she was on Seattle Storm teams for a couple of years, but she was kind of a player who jumped between a lot of franchises. Like, Wings fans are barely fans.
Her time with Seattle provided some stability across a few seasons, but generally speaking, she moved between rosters frequently. Dallas had minimal fan engagement. Her stint with New York came before the Breanna Stewart era and the James Dolan ownership transformation, so that chapter barely registers. Minnesota got limited minutes from her. The bubble season with Seattle happened, but overall, her visibility remained limited.
Jumped between a lot of franchises. Like, Wings fans are barely fans. Wings barely have any fans. Then she played for the pre-Stewie Liberty, who weren't like the James Dolan Liberty. They don't really count. And then before that, she was with the Storm. Fair enough, like, she was there in the wobble. She barely played with the Minnesota Lynx. And this was the season where everybody knows who Natasha Howard is. Like, every single person,
This season changed everything. Recognition skyrocketed. Every basketball enthusiast, including casual observers, now recognizes Howard's name. Her personal merchandise sales likely increased exponentially. She earned a Commissioner's Cup MVP award.
Natasha Howard is. Like, every single person, every single casual fan knows who Natasha Howard is. Like, I think she sells like merch on her own website, probably 100x in sales. She won a Commissioner's Cup MVP. And, like, no matter what happens now, you can, like, Natasha Howard will leave Indiana, not necessarily like as an Indiana legend, but fondly remembered by the Fever and by Fever fans, which is the majority of WNBA fans.
Regardless of what happens next in her career, when she eventually departs from Indiana, she won't necessarily leave as a franchise icon, but the Fever faithful will remember her warmly. Given that Indiana's fan base represents a massive portion of the WNBA's overall following, this means something substantial. The affection might extend to the point where purchasing beverages could become unnecessary for her anywhere throughout the state. What makes this particularly noteworthy is that performance quality doesn't even dictate this outcome. Consider Alisa Smith, whose production declined significantly as last season progressed, particularly during crucial matchups.
She will be very fondly remembered. Like, she might never have to buy another drink again in her life if anywhere in Indiana. And that's one of the things if you go to the Fever, it's not even about playing well or not playing well. Because even, like, Alisa Smith did not play well last season, especially towards the end, especially in big games. Actually, no, she played one really good game when we beat the Sun in the regular season, but he was terrible in the playoffs. Fever fans, you can see
There was one exceptional performance against Connecticut during regular season play, but postseason appearances were disappointing. Despite this, observe the reception Smith receives in Indiana. Same story with Erica Wheeler. If Howard returns to the Fever roster, she'll likely accept a reserve role. Starting positions and maximum contracts will require looking elsewhere, which seems probable.
You can see the reception that Alisa Smith gets in Indiana, the reception Erica Wheeler gets in Indiana for being there. the reception that if Natasha Howard, like realistically, if Natasha Howard is back to the Fever, she's coming off the bench. If she wants to start, she's going to go somewhere else. Or if she wants a max contract, she's going somewhere else. So that's probably what's going to happen. It's all going to come down to what role she wants. And if she goes somewhere else, she'll get a damn standing ovation when she checks into the game. She'll be having to sign autographs for.
Yet even if she departs, expect a tremendous ovation when she enters games as an opponent. Autograph sessions could stretch for hours based on fan appreciation. The argument that player treatment correlates purely with performance doesn't hold up. Sports fans generally respond positively when they recognize maximum effort being given for their team. The contrast appears when athletes clearly aren't fully committed.
Sign autographs for Fever fan for hours. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's about whether players play well or not. It's not even that. And like, that's one of the things in sports. Like, if you know any player is giving their all for your team, like the fans will be positive. And in an equal way, when you know a player is not giving their all in a Duana Bonner situation, in a situation where, I don't even know, can we nickname Duana Bonner Big Tamper right now? Like, I don't know.
The Duana Bonner situation illustrates this perfectly. Whether calling her involvement big tamper fits or not, the reality is she seemingly lost interest in competing for the Fever and essentially checked out. Had Bonner simply requested a trade privately, arranging a move to Phoenix while Indiana received compensation, perhaps a 2026 second-round selection, Sophie Cunningham, and whatever rookie salary was necessary to balance the transaction, things would have played out differently. The Fever could have acquired assets like Cunningham or another useful player plus draft capital, along with someone on a minimum non-guaranteed contract they could immediately waive. That scenario would have prompted reactions like it just didn't fit, we got value back, time to move forward, rather than the personal reasons departure that had supporters genuinely concerned for her well-being.
I don't know. She just don't want to play basketball for the Fever anymore. But she kind of gave up and quit. And I don't think the reception will be nearly as bad if it turns out, Duana Bonner requested a trade behind the scenes, said she was only going to go to the Phoenix Mercury, and the Indiana Fever got a second-round pick in 2026, Kit Laxa, and whatever rookie was needed to make up salary, was needed to clear salary so they could get Duana Bonner. They could have done that. They could have.
Instead, it became clear she simply wanted out, and then the whole tampering controversy erupted. That's why Bonner faces hostility. She stands as the sole Fever player from recent seasons who receives negative sentiment from the fan base. Even Christy Wallace, who remains under contract, meaning if she ever chooses to return to professional play, Indiana must accept her back due to her protected status, doesn't generate the same level of animosity as Bonner, though Wallace certainly isn't beloved either. The difference?